and welcome to another edition of the Luis and Leon Show. Your boy, Luis. Oh,
Yeah,
wait. Yeah, that's
Leon.
right. There we go. Leon.
All right.
What's,
Depending on how
what's
you
up, brother?
watching it. How you doing, man? You all right?
Hey, man, I'm doing good, man. Living here in the nation's capital is always interesting, to say the least.
It is.
But yeah, so
It
so
is.
th- I'll just catch y'all up real quick. Um, as of this recording of this episode, I have lived through the military parade that was supposed to be celebrating 250th. I think it was 250, right? Of the military, but yeah, I'm gonna just say, like, we all know that's not what it was for, right? We all know that. Number one.
Yeah, it was Trump's birthday parade. Let's just say it. It was what it was.
But let me. I just want to drop a few things that people may not have read or may not know.
Mhm.
Um, just so and don't trust me, look it up yourself, right? But there were ads on Craigslist, and they were offering to pay people. This is very common. It's very common, but they were
Yeah.
they were paying people upwards of $1,000, and they were paying people of color to be in the audience, um,
In view of the camera.
in view of the camera. Yes, yes. If you don't, then maybe they've taken them down by now. I don't know. But next time that he has a rally or something, uh, don't take my word for it. Look it up yourself and look at the ads. They're there. They
Oh
are
yeah.
paying people to show up. You know
Yeah. I mean that's been a standard practice for them, actually, on campaign trail, everything. So
exactly. I do want to make another note about that parade because obviously I work in the news business, and
hmm
we were we were um, not part of it, but saw it, and a lot of us were commenting on the lack of precision of the marching, right?
right.
The lack of the precision of the soldiers. And I have family members who've served. I'm sure you do. Like, people who've served.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
one
I got people
thing,
that serving now,
right,
actually.
right.
So
And the one thing that you cannot get out of basic training without knowing how to march in step
right.
and in precision. Hell, you and I, right? The Botillion we were in just
hmm
last year, right?
Right.
but
Yeah, we just
but
got
but
these gray hairs yesterday, so hey.
but we both know how that goes too, right? We had basic drill practice for the Botillion.
Yeah,
You got
yeah.
to be in step. It's precise, and so I'm going, tip of the cap to the soldiers for their silent protest. All right, this is
hmm
there's no way around it because we've seen military parades and marches for other authoritarian figures around the world, and precision was the name of the game. So,
Well, not just precision, but it's energeticness, like the energy, like how they, they high stepping, goose stepping with the rifle, holding it all the way up here. I'm like,
facts.
man, y'all got a different kind of energy. Like y'all's marching like y'all's lives depend on it or something, you
and
know?
and and the march that we saw here in DC had nothing to do with the weather. See what I'm saying? Like, nothing to
Right,
do with the weather. Nothing to do with the weather.
right.
Um, Shout out to the No Kings protests that went off around the world and around the country too. Shout out to them.
Yeah, well, here's one thing I wanted to ask you about because I read this article about that, and they
Yeah.
were, I guess, like the civil engineers in DC and around were
Hmm.
wondering how the roads and the pavement was gonna hold up under the force of like all of these several, ton vehicles.
Hmm.
Like what was it gonna do to the
So,
streets?
and that was a huge concern. I will say, so I don't normally travel the route of the where the parade was, but so far I haven't heard of any any crazy amounts of damage so far. Doesn't
Okay.
mean doesn't mean it won't happen, right? Because here's what I think will happen. It's summer now, and so obviously, if you
Yeah.
know anything about basic science, heat expands things, right? So you may not find all the cracks and damage to that route until maybe in the fall when it starts to cool down, and that's when we might
Right.
find a lot of damage. But that was a huge concern for sure.
Well, I was gonna say, like, although it doesn't make it in the news up there, but I know, like, in the city of Atlanta, they've been having sinkholes. They just pop up and like swallow whole cars and stuff like that. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, it's happened here too. Well,
and
here's the
water
thing:
main breaks and all that kind
that's
of stuff.
we got all this old infrastructure, and all of a
Right.
sudden, this 8-inch water main breaks in one quadrant of the city ain't got water, right? And these
Yeah.
sinkholes happen, so that happens too, and they were worried about that, you know.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting to
So
see what happens. And guess who's
yeah,
gonna pay for all that? Right. Exactly. DC
the
residents.
exactly. We're going to pay for it, and they're taking away. They've already taken away some of our budget for the city, but that's another show for
Right.
another day. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Another
Right.
show for another day. Before we get into some topics that we wanted to cover, right? I know you wanted to share something. Um,
Hmm.
I got to tell you, man, my daughter Jordan made me proud today. We were getting dinner ready, just heating stuff up. She was on the
Hmm.
FaceTime one of her friends, right? And I've kind of hipped her to Boondocks. Okay, hipped her
Oh.
to Boondocks,
Okay.
and she recited one of the scenes from the episode where Riley found out that Gangstalicious was gay.
That's a Gangsterlicious is one of the greatest episodes of television ever. Like
That's
for
what I
real.
that's what I told her, right? When I was watching, I was like, "Dude, you gotta come watch this. You gotta come watch this." She was like,
Yeah.
"What?" But
Yeah.
so she repeated it word for word, and I was like, "Yo, that's dope. You made me proud. You made me proud. That's dope."
Yep. Yep. Man, like, yeah,
Uh,
Gangsterlicious. I mean, just in general, that series was so far. If you go back and watch it, it's almost like he was in a time machine because a lot of the things that he predicted, like, totally came to pass. And at the time, I was like, that ain't gonna never happen. Society
and
wouldn't get that crazy. And it has. It
yep,
totally has.
you could almost say that Aaron Magruder in Boondocks was doing what The Simpsons has been doing for years. You know what I
Pretty
mean?
much. Yep.
Oh man, it
Yep.
was nuts. It was nuts. But yeah, dude. So I told her friend, I was like, "Yo, y'all gotta start watching the Boondocks, y'all. If y'all really want to know what, because man, we do so much for our kids, trying to expose them to new things, right, and expose them to things that are beneficial globally, right? But if you watch the Boondocks, you won't forget about some cultural things that you may not expose your kids to. So,
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's interesting that you bring that up because I know, like, I don't
mhm,
know if Jordan was doing this, but Layla has done this. Her and some of her friends,
mhm.
they have taken like a journey through like the nostalgia of like all these black shows, like older black shows, like the Cosby
Yeah,
Show.
yep,
Um, what's the other one that they Family Matters? They watch
yes, yeah.
that.
Family Matters.
Um,
What was the one with the Maori twins? Sister, sister,
Yeah, sister.
sister,
Yep, she did
sister.
that one.
Hmm,
So
hmm.
I know the Cosby Show is coming. Like we've kind of done that a little bit, and then not too far behind will be a different world. And then
Right,
you
right.
saw that they're shooting a different
Or,
world part
or,
two down here
hmm.
in Atlanta right
I
now.
did, I did, I did.
Yeah, yeah.
So, real quick, another side tangent because we like to get all nose. Um, is it difficult to watch the Cosby Show now for you?
Not. I mean, maybe at first, but
Hmm,
kind of not really. Like I was able to
hmm.
like divorce that. Like I'm like,
Okay,
it's such a great show. Um,
sure, sure,
and yeah, I mean, he's a bad actor, but it's just like, I mean, the show was so great, and so
totally,
so has so many like life lessons, and was such a pivotal part of our childhood. I
totally,
mean,
100%,
you know,
100%.
people still watching Seventh Heaven, and that dude was off the chain. So
I mean,
you
fair,
know,
fair, but I don't know if I haven't been able to really watch it yet. Like I haven't been able to do what you did, kind of divorce from what he was outside the show. Um, but hopefully I'll get back to it because you're right. It was such an important part of just life lessons, right? And part of it,
Yeah.
it gave us something to identify with too, on TV at
Yeah.
that time.
Yeah, well, and then part of it
Yeah,
too is that there's all kinds of other people's income who is wrapped up in the residuals from that show being on. Because I think
that's
it was
true.
like the dude who played Sandra's husband, Elvin, and like
Elvin,
Daryl
yeah,
Bell, and all of them. They were talking about how like they were
yep,
getting some pretty decent like residual checks
residuals.
when that
Mm-hmm.
stuff was on, and when it stopped for like the 2 or 3 years when the show wasn't on at all, it was like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of a good chunk of money for them just dried up, you know.
True, true. So
So there's that.
still supporting them for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
but I'm not
you
listening to R. Kelly though. I ain't doing that. I don't rock with Kels and I don't rocks with Diddy. So there you go. For what
can't
it's
do it.
worth.
Can't do it. There is a show about R. Kelly on the Boondocks. There is a show. There's
I
an episode.
know.
There's an
It was the
episode.
first. I think
It was
wasn't
the
it the first one?
first or
It,
second
it
one. First or second one.
yeah. It's the trial of R. Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's the
Mm-hmm.
second one. It is the second one because the first one is the garden party, and the second
Right.
one is the
Right.
trial of R. Kelly. Yes,
Mm,
yes,
mm, 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 mm.
it's wild, so wild.
Yeah. No. Can't rock with them, man. But you shared something with me before the show,
Mhm.
and like so you said that Layla got glasses. So
She did.
yeah, man. How's she feeling about that?
She was really excited. Like I wasn't sure how she was gonna be about it, but she had
Mm-hmm.
they did an eye exam in school,
Mm-hmm.
and she brought home the paper and it said that she needed to have like a formal eye exam or whatever, and she was like, yeah, sometimes I have trouble seeing. If I sit in the back of the class, I have trouble seeing to the front of the classroom and the board. And I think it was affecting her grades and
Mm-hmm.
stuff because she was having trouble making out like numbers, and stuff like twos and fives and stuff like that was starting to all like look alike a little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so we're fortunate in that one of the kids, shout out to Jason Blow at Now I See Eye Care. One of her classmates from kindergarten,
Mm-hmm.
his father is an eye doctor, so
Oh, cool.
took her
Okay.
in. Yeah. So I go
Bet.
to him, went took her in, and she was kind of a little bit scared at first, but
Yeah.
she did
Yeah.
fine with it. And she was like, I just want to be able to see. And she picked out her glasses and she was excited. And when she put them on, she's laying in the bed. I'm like, here's your glasses, Dame. And right. And
That's
she put
dope.
it on and
That's
she said,
dope.
oh my God, I can see. I actually can see what that says, and it's far away. So I was like, "Oh, well, here we go." And she ran her bathroom, and she's looking at the bathroom and looking and see. She's
Nice.
like, "Oh, I like these." So yeah, so she got some teal green glasses.
That's dope. That's dope. I remember if it wasn't for COVID, we would never have known that Jordan needed glasses, right? Because we
Really?
had jumped into the Chromebooks and laptops, right? And she was
Uh huh.
always like up close, always, we're just thinking, okay, that's how you look at stuff, right? But
Yeah.
they caught it at school, same thing,
Hmm.
and one of the teachers was like, maybe we should get her eyes checked because she sits in the back, but sitting her up in the front, she still needed glasses, even sitting in the front. But what's
Hmm.
funny is that, you never know how kids process stuff, right? So I'm glad that Layla likes her glasses because Jordan was like, "Oh, I thought everybody was having this." She was like, "I just thought that's how it was," right?
Hmm.
Didn't tell us that she couldn't see. So
Mm.
I'm
Mm.
glad that yeah, and it turned out for the better. I mean, she's got glasses, she still got them now, and she don't want contacts. So I'm like, cool, do you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Do
yeah.
you?
The doctor told Layla told me that there's a chance that Layla might grow out of it still at this
Right.
age because she's
She's
turning
so young.
9 on Thursday, man.
Oh,
So
oh man. Woo, well, time flies. Time flies.
I know,
That's crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, we'll be doing a Sweet 16 party this year. That's nuts.
Lord, oh
Right?
man.
Right? Sweet 16.
Mm-mm-mm.
Anyhow, man, but let's tap into a few
Mm-hmm.
things that we want to bring up for today's episode, man. So I know there's something that you wanted to bring up. So floor is yours, sir.
Well, I mean, we can go to sports first, and then we can
Oh,
get
okay.
into more serious,
Bet,
topics,
bet,
if
bet,
you will.
bet,
Um, but yeah, the whole thing with the finals, man, like that was interesting,
bro, bro.
really interesting.
Like it was as a basketball lover, right? And I'm sure you probably felt this way too. It was a great series. Like
It
it was
was
that was basketball. It was team. It was they were trading blows, man, back and forth. And
very
I
evenly
tried
matched.
I tried to put myself in Halliburton's shoes. You're damn straight I'm playing. There's no way I'm not playing game 6. There's no way I'm not playing game 7, right? If you're talking this is game 25, right? Beginning of the season, nah, right? I'm going to go ahead, take my 2 weeks whatever, get my calf, right?
Yeah,
You may never make it back to the finals again, right?
it's true.
You playing, but bro, as soon as he stepped, like I saw the heel just do
Yep,
that, and you
yep,
saw the
yep.
pop,
You saw
and
it. Yeah, that
it
was it.
was man. I give Indiana credit though. They did not stop fighting and went into halftime with the 1 point lead. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like it was easy. Wasn't like it was easy. You know,
No, no. I just think that clearly, Halliburton orchestrates a lot of what they do.
sure,
I mean,
sure,
and you just didn't really have the same straw stirring the drink. Like McConnell was trying, but
right, right.
he's only one man, and I'm like, go down
It,
in the paint, Miles Turner. Stop shooting threes.
well,
Like,
they're that's when they went super small, right? Oklahoma City had like a dude who was 6'4", 6'5" on him. You 7 foot.
hmm
Put your hand up, bro. Like feed him,
Yep,
man.
yep, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But
but
no, I
I'm
thought it was good. I thought it was
yeah.
good. I think the probably, and I want to get your take on this. Do you think that part of the reason why he played outside of being a competitor is he didn't want to get bashed in the media if he didn't play?
Oh, of
Like,
course,
you're
of
selfish.
course.
How are you
Of,
not gonna come out and play, in the finals? Blah blah
Liz,
blah.
look at what they did to Darius Garland in the series against Indiana when he didn't play the first 2 games with the sprained toe. Look at how they bashed him. And I'm talking about the dudes from TNT. Everybody came out was like, "How you not gonna play with your team?" Yet here we are. My man needed surgery in off season. You know what I mean?
Right. And
So
that's the thing. Like, you're a point guard. I mean, you're a basketball player, period. But especially you're a point guard. You need all 10 toes. Like, if one of those jokers goes bad,
you
especially
not
if it's the big one, you're in trouble.
you can't even plant, you can't pivot, you can't push off. You yeah, nah.
Right.
So I'm sure that was in his mind that he was gonna get bashed for not showing up for his team. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I try I won't go on a rant, but let me just say this.
I think
The
I know what you're
NBA
about to say.
coverage of ESPN will be so much better without Stephen A. Let me just say that. It'll be so much better. It'll
We
be
we still gonna see him though. We're still gonna
oh
see him.
they're riding him because he's their new workhorse. He's their new yeah. But
Yeah.
oh
Well, and the interesting thing is they've only given what is it, the Shaq and
the,
Kenny and them and Barkley,
right,
they only got
right,
one night. Like, at least nationally. Now
right,
internationally it's gonna be like the same pretty
right,
much.
right,
And I'm like,
right.
man, I'm
But
gonna have to get me. I mean, you gonna look out because you can watch it at work. I'm gonna have to figure
exactly.
out something so I could actually watch it. Because man, I
Yep,
am not trying to watch Perk and all them. They are so
bro.
bad.
No, not even close. I was yeah, well, I got to see it at work. So the one thing that I do love is that we don't normally watch the domestic part of it. And so when it's the pre-show and the halftime, I don't
Hmm.
have to watch none of that. I don't have to watch none of that at all. I'm like,
That's
but
good.
it'd be so much better. By the time I came home, I saw him on with Scott Van Pelt and all this, and I'm just like, oh, can we not? Can we not cover NBA
Yeah,
with him? But
yeah.
he's going to be covering anyway. I
But
wasn't gonna
it's
get on no
fine.
rant.
But at least we have more options now, though, because we'll have Amazon. and we'll
Yeah.
have NBC as well. So we'll
Yep.
have
So
multiple
there's
options, and then there'll be the one night there'll be
the
Shaq
TNT crew. Yeah.
and yeah, and the
Inside
TNT
the NBA.
folks.
And
Yeah,
like I think Amazon is going to be a quiet dark horse. I think they're going to have really good coverage. What's her
yeah.
name? Cassidy Hubbard, who used to be the sideline reporter on ESPN.
hmm
She's going to Amazon. So
Yeah, yeah. So it'll be what's her name too? Is she anchoring is she hosting the show? Is Taylor Rooks
um,
hosting the show?
I think so. I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's
Yeah,
really
because
yeah.
she's excellent. And then on NBC they
Mhm.
announced that Maria Taylor is gonna
Yep,
host the show. So I'm like, that's gonna be really interesting, like
I
how that
like it.
plays out. I mean, I
I
think they're
like it.
both gonna be fine.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is going to be a lot better than ESPN's coverage. Watch what happens.
100%. They gonna kick Malika's tail. Like they're gonna really show her how to do it. Like for real.
Like, look,
But
sis, let us show you a real professional.
yeah, yeah, and it'll be cool because what's the name? Jalen will be back on TV. I actually miss
Yeah, I
as
like
much as a Wolverine as he is. I think he's a great analyst though. He's a great
absolutely
analyst.
because he analyzes, makes great points, but then makes it fun while he's doing it.
hmm
He's not doing it for hot takes. That I can tell
He's
you.
not. He's
He ain't
not.
doing it for hot
He's not.
takes. Nope,
Yeah, a hundred
nope.
percent, 100%. So who is it? It's him.
It's
Steve Nash is doing it too.
I don't remember who else is doing it. It was back and forth, and I haven't seen who was finalized yet. Because Steve
Okay.
Nash was on
Yeah, yeah,
LeBron's
he's doing the
podcast,
thing with
Mind the
LeBron.
Game. Yeah, yeah. So I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, ESPN cut so many people, they can pick up like all of
Well,
those folks and
and
be
we were talking
fine.
about this before. They cut journalists, right? They cut journalists who
They did.
actually know the game, and I'm all fine with actually getting former players, right? Because you get a good perspective, but get some former players who actually like Tim Legler. I love his analyst,
Legs is
his
good.
analyzing. Yeah, but give him a main part in the coverage. You know,
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. Like how he's like just he's not even really on the studio show that much. And I'm like,
I'd rather him be on it. So how do you put him on the studio show instead of Perk? Instead of
instead of Morris, Morris is not good either.
no, but even the dude who used to be the GM for the Warriors. Like,
Oh, Bob.
why is he
And
on
he
the show?
yeah,
Other than
yeah, I
to
thought that was interesting.
other than to defend Perk against Stephen A. Why is he on the show?
Pretty much.
Like,
Pretty
like,
much.
what are we doing? But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyhow.
Yeah, it'll be
Uh,
interesting to see what happens with that.
the reason I'm rocking this shirt, y'all, this is original, the throwback, right? Um, I don't know. Sometimes you gotta let a series go. I think.
hmm
I think you can't always continue it. So in July there is Jurassic World Rebirth. I'm gonna
hmm
go see it, but I'm still skeptical.
Bro, I hopped off.
I'm,
I hopped off a long time ago. After about the
I,
third one, I was done. I was so good. Like
I
when they brought
mean,
it back and they were cloning people and stuff, I was like, nah, I'm good. I heard about
yeah,
that.
I will admit that I even own all of them digitally. Like I own
There's
all
nothing
of
wrong with
them.
that. Nothing wrong with
I
that.
admit it, but yeah, sometimes you just gotta let it go, right? Just like I gave up on Fast and Furious around 7, and they keep going with that. Like
Yep.
let's let the dinosaurs die. You know what I'm saying? Let's let them
Yeah.
die or let them live, whatever. But let's let the series go. But yeah, check
Yeah.
it out, y'all. I'm rocking the original
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I remember the original one was nice, man. Like that was a
it
great film.
for back when it was back in '93. Ooh, that
Yep.
takes us back a little bit. But
Yeah. Well, I remember as a kid, my dad read all the books and he would tell me about them. when I
Mm-hmm.
was growing up about
Mm-hmm.
Jurassic Park, and I was like, I remember asking, like, I was like, how they gonna get, dinosaurs from like frog DNA and lizard DNA? He explained it to me. I was like, oh, okay, this is like pseudoscience for real.
And what's crazy? Yeah, that's what's crazy that they had some scientifically based concepts, right?
Yeah,
That's for
yeah,
real. That is.
yep.
But yeah, the cloning of people and the engineering of dinosaurs, it started getting out of hand. Started getting out of hand a little bit, and who's the alpha? And okay, all right, yeah. Yeah. We
Always,
we'll do another
always.
show on Jurassic Park another time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, but I am looking forward to I'm looking forward to Superman though. I know a lot of people aren't, but I'm actually think Superman's gonna be good.
I've been reading a lot about it, and I'm torn on James Gunn. Like I've always been 50-50 on him. He does good stuff, but I think Superman's going to be good. I think it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to the other the Fantastic Four. That's going to be good. That's going to be good. But so
Yeah.
so there you go. There's 3 movies in July, folks. Jurassic Park, then Superman comes out the week after that. Week after Superman is
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you guys got
It's
July
gonna be
covered for
good.
your movie watching. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, blockbuster. That'll be all right. Yeah, and then Ironheart starts tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes.
Just right, June 24th, y'all. Catch Ironheart. They're doing the 3 episodes, and then they'll drop 3 more the following week. But did okay? Were you shocked that Anthony Ramos was in this? He's well, I don't
No,
want to
not
give no
necessarily.
that. Well, his character. I don't remember
Well,
seeing
I
him
am
play.
I
Yeah,
am very surprised that they brought the Hood into this because the Hood is a really kind of obscure, like
right,
Marvel character.
right.
So there's that, but then there's also who gives the Hood his power, and if that is supposed to happen, then that's pretty major. Like that's
That's
really
what I'm
major.
saying. So, do you think they're gonna? I don't know. I'm really excited now because are they going to really tie? Is this going to be tied in to Doomsday? Right?
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
got to be. I don't see how it can't be. You know. But
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
I was shocked that they were introducing the Hood too. But I want to see Anthony Ramos play. I don't remember him playing a bad character, a bad guy,
yeah.
evil
Bad
character
guy.
before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see if he pulls this off or not. You know,
Hmm.
he might
Yep,
be a little
yep.
too. He might be a little too pretty to be bad.
It's funny. I mean, but then we gonna get him in the next GI Joe movie.
Yeah, I. Which is all of a sudden he's blowing up. Where did that? He doesn't. He's not getting these B parts anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-mm, mm-mm,
I was like, all
mm-mm.
right, y'all picking up on Anthony Ramos' aura. All
Yeah,
right,
he was good in that last Transformers movie, which was
yeah,
actually good.
it, that's what like. But he's been around in movies for a while,
He has, he has. I'm
so
glad he's
he's
getting
paid
a
his
chance to
dues.
blow.
Yeah, yeah,
It's good. It's good. Yeah.
cool.
So you want to go more
Well,
serious? So,
well, let's take a break. We'll take a break here, and
all
when we
right,
come back from the break, we'll dive into the serious topics and the heavy topics, and drop some
okay,
knowledge for people there. Cool.
that works for me. Works for
All right,
me.
man. So stay tuned, y'all. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back.
See you on the other side.
Hey, folks, welcome back to the latest edition of Luis and Leon Show. Your boy, Coach Lee, otherwise known as Luis, and my man Leon over there, otherwise known as
Yeah,
Dr. Lee, Dr.
yeah,
Law. Sorry, Dr. Law,
yep,
Dr. Law.
yep. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Always
We
glad to
riding.
have y'all. Appreciate y'all watching, listening. Make sure you subscribe. At the end of the show, I'll drop the links where you can find us on Spotify and YouTube. Um, but yeah, we got the fun stuff out the way. So let's go ahead into the return to office and return to work policy. I know there's some things that you want to share about that, and I'm going to share
Yeah,
some things from an article that I read too. So
yeah.
I
So
turn the floor over to you.
yeah, so it's interesting. So I
Hmm.
am like many employees in this post-COVID, world,
Hmm.
who is now being tasked with returning to off or to the office every day to work. And
Hmm.
that was something that, after not working in an office for basically for like the last 5 years, that is
Hmm.
a serious like shock to everyone's system. I mean, well, I'll just speak in terms of myself,
Sure.
just for a variety of different reasons. Number one, just being able to roll out of your bed and come downstairs and work is just totally just not underrated. Just in terms of not having to worry about getting out the door, so to speak. Not that you don't, get dressed and don't put on clothes and
No,
all that kind
but
of stuff,
but
but
a commute can cause stress. A
well,
commute can
that's
cause
that's what
stress.
that's what I was just gonna say.
Hmm.
Just given that we live here in Atlanta and we live out in the northern suburbs and working in the city or inside the city limits, and Atlanta, for those of you who live here or have visited here, y'all know the traffic is a problem, especially in the morning, given that our public transit system is not as robust, unfortunately, like it is in DC, where
Yeah.
you're at, right?
Yep. Yep.
So, with that being said, I got accustomed to being able to get up, move around, going to exercising on lunch breaks, and just not spending. I got extra things done as a result
Sure.
of just not having to leave, adjust my work schedule to leave at a suitable time so I was not sitting in traffic, which,
Right.
depending on how it is in Atlanta, you could either be in traffic for 30 minutes or you can be in it for an hour and a half. It just
Hmm.
depends on what's
Hmm.
happening that day, the weather, how many accidents, if there's a big event going on. It just
Hmm.
really fluctuates very, very widely. And so with that, there's quality of life issues, the stress. The other thing is I realize that as I've gotten older, especially, I'm more and more introverted. Like, I don't need to have a whole lot of people around me in
Right.
order to feel energized and connected. If anything, it's kind of draining.
Right.
Not that I don't
Right.
like people,
No,
because
but
I
it can,
do.
it can just drain you of it. It's exhausting trying to, dare I say, be on for people. Right.
You
It's
are. Yeah.
exhausting. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Some people extract energy from people, and other people, their energy gets drained from being around people.
Hmm.
And so that is a thing for me that I've just realized that after, being in the office, and not that I was fortunate to work in good workplace families,
Sure.
but it was just like, okay, well, I I just need my time to just recharge. That's how I recharge my batteries sometimes for
Hmm.
after expending that much energy. The
Sure.
other thing too, though, is that originally I was not a person who actually liked to work from home. I used to go in the office all the time, and then slowly I would telework 2 days a week, and then once
Sure.
COVID happened,
It
totally
was
working from home.
right.
Um, so that was really good and interesting. Just being converted slowly into that, and I remember
Hmm.
coming into contact with people who didn't go into the office, and they're like, "Oh my God, people!" They were so happy to see folks. It was ridiculous. Um, but maybe socially it's better in some ways because you can drift if you're just by yourself a lot. But I
Sure.
don't know. That's
Sure.
just that's
Well,
just kind of my thinking on it.
well, I don't think you're alone, man. as a person who had to go to the office throughout the whole time, I was not able to work remotely. But what we socially distanced and staggered shifts to where we were not in contact until we got to a point where we could be, right. But my wife went through the same thing before COVID, in the office, 5 days a week, trying to structure the hours around childcare. You know how that
Right.
goes, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we would divvy that up. Now, what made it harder is that my schedule is up and down, right? It's not a flat schedule. So really having to coordinate, drop off, pick up, which days, right? That kind of thing. Um, so I know that and now her office has not returned fully. I think they're at 3 days a week right now. So
Hmm.
really, but you're
Hmm.
right. The stress that goes into planning, not just the commute that you talked about, right? That is simply getting there or getting home. But that doesn't factor in, wait a minute, what are you going to wear? Has dress code issues, have they changed in 4 or 5 years? Have they not changed? Is it more relaxed? Is it more strict? Right. That doesn't change what you're going to eat. Right. That's another stress that comes along with it. You've got to now plan for,
Yeah.
and we know too, in a lot of places closed. So if you don't
Right.
have many options to eat while you're around, you don't want to have to be stuck with fast food. Not saying
Right.
fast food's good or bad, but you don't want to have to be stuck with that 5 days a week, right? If
Right.
you if you go to McDonald's 5 days a week, bro, that's a whole bigger problem than just commuting
Right.
back and forth to work. You know?
And even then, there's just the expense of it as well.
Eh,
Like, even if you want to eat healthy or go
yeah,
to a grocery store that's near, your job, that's just money that you're gonna be
yeah,
spending,
yep.
that you have to take into account. And then there's also the sedentary lifestyle of it. Like, I know I just lost a lot of weight because I'm just not like sitting down as
Because
much. Like,
you're
I'm
moving,
able.
you're active, you're doing stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
going upstairs and just,
mm-hmm.
I'm able to walk. Like, I can take a 15-minute break and go outside and walk just really
Yep.
fast. That sort of
Well,
thing.
what I will definitely put in the show notes, there's an article that I was reading, and um, it was a scientific study that was done. So they've done the research over the last 4 years, and I'll try to summarize it as best I can.
Okay.
But over the last 4 years, people are happier working from home. They're
Mm-hmm.
happier, right? What they've
Mm-hmm.
also found in this study was that, there these there are many studies on this, by the way, but this one particular article also points this out, that there's no major drop in productivity
Activity.
with people
Mm-mm.
working from home or from the office. As a
It's
matter of
not.
fact, there's a slight uptick in productivity for people working from home.
Right.
Why is that, you say, Lee? Well, according in this article and from other research, it really is about the power of choice, right? When people are told or made to work from the office, then it it takes away the autonomy.
Agency. Yeah, your
Yes,
agency goes
the
away.
agency, absolutely, right? And so, given the choice to work from home, or even if it's 3 days out of the week that you get to work from home, whatever it is, you actually focus in more by choosing those hours, right? And let's say that you choose to work from home, your work day could be from 7 a.m. all the way till 7 p.m. with little breaks in between. That gives you time to go pick up your kids, gives you time to go do your
Exactly.
exercising, gives you time to go do whatever it is you need to do. It breaks up your work day and you're actually more focused. That's a lot of what this study showed, right?
Yeah,
That
you feel more fresh. Yeah.
that people being able to choose it actually helps them be more focused and productive. So
Right.
I will definitely share that in the shared show notes. I'll put the link to the article. But as a coach, I've also seen that. I talk and work with a lot of people. There's this argument that, well, work life balance isn't a thing. There's an argument that there is, right? I think it's no different than anything, just like an eating pattern or whatever. Moderation and balance is key, right? You can have a work life balance unless your work defines who you are, right? If you are tied intrinsically to your work, if that's
Mhm.
who you are, then you might struggle with the work life balance. But I can tell you, I am more than a coach. I am more than a television technician. I'm more than an operations technician. That's just part of what I do, right? But I
Right.
have other interests, other things. So my identity is not tied into that. So having the work life balance is not, or trying to find it is not a struggle for me in that sense.
Right. No, I think that's important. You bring up something really, that people miss out on is that
Hmm.
your work is just one part of your identity, but it's not your only part of your identity. I mean,
Absolutely.
sometimes we do introduce ourselves about I'm a this, I'm a that, but that doesn't necessarily say that that's all you are. We have all these multiple roles and interests and things like that. Yes, I mean, we're
Hmm.
not all necessarily going to be that type A person that work. That's all this is,
Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah. So I agree with you on that, bro. I totally
Yeah.
agree.
Well, I will definitely share that article, like I said, in the show notes, so that way people can reference it. But there's something else that I wanted to bring up too. That because we both have kids, for any parents, this is something that I was reading another article, and it talked about how parents, and for Gen Zers, right, the Gen Z kids, the parents don't talk to them about what's going to happen after high school. And I was like, all right, that's a headline. I'll click. I went for the clickbait. Like, what are we talking about here? But
Hmm.
this article talks about, so you and I grew up, right? Or even if you go back further, whether it's our parents, it was like, all right, you work hard through school, you go to college. After college, you get a job, maybe not get married, right? But there was a pattern of what you're supposed to do, right? There
Hmm.
was a playbook. What this article is talking about is it's like the parents, and it said especially dads, are not talking to the kids about all the wealth of opportunities that are available,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And so, and I think it's key because, as we know, college and an education is important. I'm not ruling that out. But I also think, at least here in the US, with the way secondary education is currently, it's expensive. And so,
Hmm.
because it's expensive, you kind of have to be ready for that, right? You shouldn't be thrown into it because that's what you're supposed to do. You should be doing it because I'm ready to pursue something further, right? But there are
Right.
so many different avenues, and I'm not even talking
Right.
about just entrepreneurship. Um, I've been doing work with the Lorain County court system, and one of the things that I've impressed upon some of these young kids is that having a trade is going to be important, like electricians,
It's
plumbers.
not going to be important. It's
It's
important
important.
right now.
Yeah, yeah.
It already is, because
By
that's
t-
not going anywhere.
exactly. And dude, I caught one of these kids' attention because I was like, "What if I told you you could make $400 an hour?" And like teens, and they're all sitting like this, and so I said that, and he was like, "Oh, I got you, right?" And he was like, "Did you say $400 an hour?" And I was like, "Yeah, minimum."
Hmm.
Because if now once I caught his attention, I'm like, but there's now a certain process you have to go through in order to
Right.
become a licensed plumber, a licensed electrician, a journeyman, all those things.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. You got to apprentice and all that, and then get in
but
the
there's
union
a
and all that.
but there's a way to do it, and if kids wanted to be entrepreneur, go create something, right? We got a whole new world that, yes, we're giving you content right here, but this isn't quite like a streamer, right? We're not trying to be influencers. We're not streaming, but that's something that you could pursue. Like, why not? If you're serious about it, I think that is the conversation. At least I know I'm having that conversation with mine about if college is not right for you after high school. Let's talk about a plan on what would be, and then
Right.
maybe you go to
Right.
college later, that kind of
Right.
thing.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that's yeah. I think it's really important. Just having been, a professor and taught classes and all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
is college is really not for everybody. It's just
Mm-hmm.
something that people get drilled into their head that they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, and if you don't necessarily know if that's what you want to do and you don't, like it, one of the hacks that people actually do before they go and they go to the big flagship universities is they go to community college and just see
Yes.
if they like
Yes.
college. And then you can always transfer anywhere, like into the
Mm-hmm.
major flagship university or big state school or whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a low cost in terms of your time and your money, so you don't have this massive debt if you get to the end and you're like, oh, I really don't want to do this, or I really don't like it. And there's nothing wrong with that. You
And you
know?
don't owe 80, 90,000 dollars at that point either, right? And
Exactly.
so, and just to be clear, folks, we are both college graduates, right? So it's not
Hmm.
that we don't believe in college and secondary education. Fully believe in it, but
Yeah.
as you pointed out, it's not for everybody, or it's not for everybody at that time, right? So
Right.
I think that's an important conversation to have with your kids starting in high school, and then as they get closer to graduation, all right, let's look at a plan and see what that's going to look like, once
Right.
you graduate,
Right.
for sure.
Well, and the other part too is that their fields are changing. Like there's certain fields that are there,
Totally.
in years past that aren't necessarily there now, and there'll be things that'll be there in the future that aren't around now. So, I mean, I think
Hmm.
talking to kids and just younger people and getting them to keep their options open about the different things that they can do, I think is really important because adults have to go back and switch jobs and switch careers and fields and stuff like that. So
Yep.
I mean, young people should be prepared to do that as well.
Totally.
The other,
Well, in
yeah,
a younger mind, it's easier for a younger mind to pick up on stuff quickly.
it is. Yeah, it definitely is. And I agree. Like the vocational route,
Hmm.
is one that's really not as talked about, but it's a huge revenue stream. I mean, I know you're
Hmm.
talking about being a plumber, like the person that we had install our hot water heater. He was like, yeah, I mean, he's like, I can make as much money as I want. And he said he was trying to get his son into it. And he's like, but his son doesn't want to give himself to it. He looks at it as this is degrading work.
Beneath, right? And
But he's just like, look, it's a service and
you're an
you can
expert
make
in
as
doing it, and you're an expert.
exactly.
You are
and
an
and and
expert.
it's people are always going to need that. Same
Hmm.
thing like being an auto mechanic. That's another one
Hmm.
that
Yep.
people will always need those sorts of things.
Well,
um
and the one thing that for the youth, and this was what I was really thrilled about to hear these young kids from Lorain County talking about it. The one young lady, she actually is going to get a job with Toyota. She's working on being a diesel mechanic, bro. She's working on
yep.
being a diesel mechanic, but it keeps them out of trouble.
Yep.
they
Yep.
they're making money legally, and it keeps them out of trouble, so they don't repeat some of the habits that got them in trouble in the first place, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Having
Yeah.
opportunities is key. Yeah, there's a young lady who we gave a scholarship to at our church. She's going
Hmm.
off and they ask, they have kids talk about what they're gonna do and what they're gonna major in. She's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I wanna be an aviation mechanic. That's what I wanna do. So I was just
Nice.
like, you go. Like that's
Yep.
awesome.
Yep.
That's totally awesome.
And I
You
bet
know?
she's probably gonna watch the series with Riri Williams and Ironheart.
Exactly.
She's
Exactly.
probably gonna, but yeah, that's like options and opportunities and just being open to it, man. That's what's key. Big time.
Well,
Big
and
time.
I think another thing that's good is to have. I know we did it. We were coming through school, and there was a program that I was a part of when I was in graduate school,
Hmm.
where we did this with kids. Is doing a career and interest inventory. So matching up
Mm.
things that you're interested in and things that
Hmm.
you're good at to potential careers, and we would get those printouts, and we would see these are the
Mm.
careers that you might be good at,
Right.
And the ones, at least one of the ones that I got is what I'm doing now, being a behavioral scientist. That was one of the careers that I got, actually.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so I think that that's important because, like they say, if you do what you're passionate about, it never really feels like working.
Never work a day in your life. That's right.
Yeah.
If you love what
Yeah.
you
I mean,
do,
trust
never.
me. I mean, I love what I do, but there are days it does feel like work. I mean, it's
Oh,
interesting and fun. It's never like the same every single
facts.
day. But I think that that's important. And I think kids, I think as human beings, we want to be stimulated and we want to grow
Hmm.
in at least one facet of our life. So,
Absolutely. No, man, you hit the nail on the head. I love that. Um, before we wrap up, I was gonna say, any last thoughts on anything that we touched on, whether it was the first segment or
hmm.
the segment where we kind of hit some heavy topics?
Oh yeah. So one more thing about the going back to office thing is that a lot of these companies want to get the most out of the commercial real estate licenses or leases that they signed rather.
Hmm.
They a lot of these places they sign these, 10, 20 year
10-year
leases
deals. Yep.
and they're losing money because you don't have butts in seats per se, and so they want to get, they're not able to terminate the lease. They're like, well, we're not just going to keep paying this money. This is massive drain on overhead, so we want
Hmm.
y'all to come back in. you
It
know
ain't got nothing to do with productivity. Nothing.
Nothing.
But
It's all about oversight and that.
so I'm gonna leave y'all with this thought, right? We talked about return to office, and you just nailed it, right? The big leases, these 10-year leases, all these corporate buildings. Wouldn't it be great if there was a way that you could fill this space in these corporate buildings, retrofit them, outfit them for urban gardening, urban farming, and oh, wait, you might actually have a chance to produce food and feed people. Oh, wait, you could actually train people who don't have jobs or they're homeless. You could put some apartments in this so you could work where you live, and it's a service that you'd be feeding people. But that's too much like right. That's
Yeah,
I
there are a
know
few
that's
places that actually do that.
yeah,
They
yeah.
actually do that with the
And
urban
imagine
farming and urban gardening.
imagine if there were more. Hmm,
Hmm.
where would that put us? But
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
no, another conversation for another day, bro. You know, make sure, like I said, what we talked about, the July 2nd is the Jurassic Park new movie, or sorry, June 24th is Ironheart. July 2nd is the Jurassic Park. The 11th, I think, is Superman. And the week after that, 18th, 25th, somewhere around there in July, is Fantastic Four. Y'all,
Hmm.
I want to hear some comments from y'all watching the movies. Leave comments for us, right? So you can find us right there on Spotify, Luis and Leon Show, or you can go to YouTube, go to the Spotlight series, Live All Good TV. You can find the Luis and Leon episodes there. And other than that, we'll catch y'all next time.
Yeah. Make sure
Luis
you
and
hit that
Leon,
subscribe button. All right.
see y'all. Do it.
Peace.